People will throw around the term, "Don't you trust me?" Or "Why won't you let me do this? Don't you trust me?" Or "If you trusted me, you would let me do this." I try to show people, look, don't fall into the trust trap. Rather than trust, one of the most important things is actually safety. What's up? This is Justin Gordon, mental health therapist. In this video, I'm going to be talking about a phenomena that I see a lot, to which I've given the very sophisticated name of the trust trap. So as a relationship therapist, trust is something that is huge. Some people would say it's the most important thing even. It's definitely a concept that comes up quite a bit across a lot of different relationship types. Definitely it comes in between romantic partners. It also comes into place pretty heavily between parents and their children, especially as they start spreading their wings and beginning to differentiate themselves from their parents. Whatever the situation or relationship might be, trust is a pretty heavy factor. And now, that's a good thing. Trust is a very good thing. Without it, it's hard to have relationships. I see trust becoming weaponized and being turned into a bad thing pretty often. And that's where I started calling it the trust trap and pointing out to people how it can actually be damaging in relationships. Another area where I see it is, say, if people are recovering from being on an addictive substance like alcohol or drugs or any of the other things to which people get addicted, and trust becomes a big factor when they've burned bridges and damaged trust while in that addiction, and then trust comes up in a different way while they're trying to get away from that addiction. It comes up between them and their loved ones, or between them and themselves, basically. Now, where I say this becomes weaponized is a lot of times when people are trying to heal in a relationship, whether it's with other people or their relationship with themselves, people will throw around the term, "Don't you trust me?" Or "Why won't you let me do this? Don't you trust me?" Or "If you trusted me, you would let me do this," or "You wouldn't worry about this thing." To me, this has been a damaging thing. I try to show people, look, don't fall into the trust trap. It's not a matter of starting to trust each other just yet. It's not a matter of do you trust each other or do you not trust each other. Rather than trust, one of the most important things is actually safety. Safety trumps just about everything else, and it can definitely trump trust. So a lot of times it's not about trust, it's about safety. Or in some cases it's about boundaries or being safe, mutually respecting each other's boundaries, or about keeping good habits. So that might look like in a relationship where somebody has been unfaithful and now they're needing to rebuild trust. Or it might look like, obviously, the teenager wanting to go out and do some things that the parents aren't completely comfortable with. Or it might mean one person in a relationship has been involved in addictive substances and they're trying to get out of that, and they want their partner to trust them, trust that they're not using it again, trust that their partner can fully engage in the relationship and feel safe, that they aren't going to get taken by surprise with another relapse. Trust comes out where people want to start earning their privileges back and their trust, so to say, before their partner or their parent or whatever is ready to give that trust. And so it puts the parent in a situation, or it puts the non-addicted partner in a situation, or the partner who hasn't been unfaithful in the situation where they're being told they need to trust, it's thrown in their face, they're being held hostage by it, and maybe they feel like they should feel guilty for not automatically trusting this person, or trusting this person after a very short period of recovery, or trusting this person to get into really bad situations and that they will be okay. So, pretty unfair thing to do. I try to liberate people from being squeezed into that position. And I tell them, look, it's not about a matter of trust. We sort of put that one on the back burner for now. It's a matter of safety. It's a matter of mutual respect. It's a matter of boundaries. So putting some boundaries in place and showing mutual respect for each other by respecting those boundaries, by holding those boundaries. If you can do this, trust will be earned back, but trust isn't the first thing to look for. It's not the short-term thing. It's more of the mid to long-term thing. So in the short term, it's a matter of being safe, which is a matter of not putting yourself in bad situations where there needs to be trust. It's a matter of Keeping good habits, avoiding bad situations, putting yourself in bad situations in the name of trust or in the name of earning trust is bad practice. Developing a bad habit, and we shouldn't do it, even if it's the name of trust. We should, bottom line, play it reasonably safe. So no, it's not a matter of you should automatically trust your partner to be in bad situations or trust your teenager to be in bad situations. It should be a matter of, no, I wouldn't even allow myself to get into that bad situation because it's bad practice. It's bad habits. It can be kind of like not locking your doors at night, to use a oversimplified example, basically. Yeah, you're probably going to get away with it for a long, long time. Realistically, probably not going to have a lot of trouble, but it is bad practice and you shouldn't do it. It's not a matter of you don't trust your neighbors. It's a matter of you shouldn't put yourself in a bad situation, vulnerable to trusting powers outside of your control. You just lock your doors because it's good practice. Try not to fall into the trust trap. It's a matter of safety first. Trust should come later. Now, that being said, I'm not one to want to make people paranoid. I'm not one to really want to engage in the slippery slope mentality, meaning you should always stay as far away from danger as is possible, because really you can't. Life is not about that. You can't live in a protective bubble. So, as a disclaimer, I'm not saying always take that slippery slope mentality and completely keep all the doors closed to anything bad happening, because that's not realistic. Not what I'm pushing here. What I am saying, again, is don't put yourself in obviously bad situations and trust that you will be okay. Don't let your teenager get in bad situations. Trust that they will be okay, or let them manipulate you with the trust word into getting in bad situations. Or don't feel bad that you don't want to let your partner be in bad situations, and just trust that they will be okay. While we can't stay as far away from danger as possible, we also shouldn't go flirting with it. It reminds me of the scenario that I heard a lot growing up as a good church-going little boy about somebody who was trying to hire a wagon driver. 3 people came in for the interview. One was bragging about getting within, I don't know, a foot of the edge and still being safe. The next one was getting within, say, an inch of the cliff and still being okay. And then the third one comes in and says, look, no, I'd stay as far away from the edge as possible. Now, I'm not advocating for that. Again, you can't always stay as far away from the edge as possible, but neither should you get within an inch of the edge and just trust your skills to pull you through. It's better to be a bit farther away from the edge. Maybe not completely on the other side of the road, but not an inch away from danger. It's not about getting through with sheer grit and determination or force of character or willpower. Those are great short-term solutions, but white-knuckling it is not a great long-term solution. Anybody can do it for a time, but not a good idea to keep putting yourself in bad situations. Just trusting your skills that you'll be okay constantly. So to illustrate this point, I used to give this example, which is epic and will change your life, and I'm sure you'll agree. So I think of, say, if I'm trying to eat really healthy and there is an unfortunately placed donut shop between my house and where I work. Say I walk to work. Not a good idea to walk right by that donut shop and just expect that I'm going to smell a warm maple donut and still be okay. Yeah, I can do that a few times, but after a while, let's be honest, the maple donut's gonna win. Not a great long-term solution. So in essence, then, might be a bad idea to eliminate trust. Just go around the block so you don't even have to smell that donut and make it safely to work. Not a matter of necessarily trust, it's a matter of being safe at the end of the day. So I used to get a lot of backlash from this example from young teenage males who were working really hard at being stoic, who would say, yeah, you got to learn to be strong. You got to be prepared for some situations. They wanted to get to a point where they could put themselves in bad situations and be strong, be okay. And again, while I do agree we can't live in a protective bubble, I think there is a difference between learning the skills and the good habits and the self-discipline and determination. That being said, there is a difference between preparing and being strong and still avoiding the situations in which we need to be overly prepared and strong, and being prepared and strong and then getting overconfident and then casually allowing ourselves to flirt with really bad situations and just trusting ourselves that we're always going to be okay. So that is the trust trap in a nutshell. Like I say, it comes up really often in relationships. It can be a really hard thing to work around. We want to earn trust back. We want to give trust to our partners, give trust to our teenagers, give trust to ourselves for sure. We just also have to look at what steps need to come into place before trust is earned, and where showing too much trust can be irresponsible, either to our other loved ones or to ourselves, and look at where we should ultimately just be safe and then worry about trust later.